What's going on, YouTube? Uh, I need some new shoes. I need some new shoes. And there's a mall called Strongsville Mall. Normally, I order my shoes from Strongsville Mall, which is an upper middle class suburban mall. Suburban mall. I used to live in a very upscale upper middle class white neighborhood. Everybody made money. Not too many blacks there. Most people made a lot of money. The place I had was a little bit too expensive, so I recently downsized. I'm not gonna lie, I came to the hood. I'll divulge that and present full disclosure. I downsized and moved down to the hood to save money. One of the biggest mistakes I ever made. You should never sacrifice your level or condition of living based on saving money. I don't care whether you have to have 2 or 3 jobs. If you want to keep your upscale lifestyle, you should do so no matter how hard you have to work. But I digress. I normally have my shoes sent to my home, normally when I'm in an upper middle class neighborhood. And so I decided not to order the shoes. I'm just going to look around. Again, full disclosure, I wear size 15s. I have very big shoes. So the whole point of this, and I know you're wondering what the point of this is. The whole point of this is the reason why I didn't want to order these particular shoes and have them sent to this particular address in the hood is because the things that go on in the hood is very unsavory. A lot of crime, very high crime rate in the inner city of Cleveland, Ohio. A lot of hustling, a lot of dope dealing openly. Police do not respond. I've tried. The police do not respond to crime in the inner city of Cleveland. And if they do, it probably has to be a rape or a murder. So you may have to lie about what you need them for even if it's a smaller scale crime. But the point I'm trying to make is I instinctively did not order those shoes because I know somebody in my neighborhood will steal them. I know that for a fact. And so I instinctively said, you know what? I'm not going to order these shoes. And it's sad that I've heard many other black people instinctively make decisions on what they're not going to do or what they are going to do based on where they live. It's amazing that when I was in Middleburg Heights, which was the upscale neighborhood, which is a Cleveland suburb where I used to live, very expensive. That's why I left. When I lived there and I was living among other upper middle class working white folks, I would have my shoes ordered and delivered straight to my door with no hesitation, with a total peace of mind. And I started thinking today when I was looking for shoes and I held off on ordering them and being delivered where I live now. It's just, I thought it's sad that it was instinctive. I didn't even have to think about it not to order my shoes living in the hood. Even though it was no hesitation to order my shoes when I lived in the upper middle class neighborhood of Middleburg Heights, where all those upscale working white folks were. I knew my shoes were not going to be stolen if UPS or FedEx or whoever laid that box of shoes on my doorstep. I knew it, and it was without, and I wasn't scrutinizing the process. Oh, well, it's a white neighborhood, it's safer, I think it'll be a good idea. I wasn't calculating whether I should order it or not, or I'm just thinking about it now because of my instinct not to have. And I just feel like I hear so many other blacks say that. I want to go to this restaurant, I want to go to this McDonald's on the white side of the neighborhood because their hamburgers are made right and your orders are right. I want to go to this McDonald's, I want to go to this Wendy's on the other side. I've heard so many black people say, I want to go to this shopping center because their produce is fresher. I'm not going to go to the hood. I'm going to go to this neighborhood or that neighborhood because I know the lettuce is crispier, and they're going to throw out the old vegetables and things are going to look more in order. It's going to be cleaner. The inside of the grocery store is going to be mopped, or the restaurant is going to have, you know, chairs that don't have broken legs on them. I don't want to go. I hear this all the time, and it's just so sad that today was one of those days where I find myself among the masses of black people that make instinctive decisions based off of where you live. And I think that's very telling. We always want to scream racism and say that white folks look at us like animals. They look at us as uncivilized, and they're always spreading these facts about our brains being, I don't know, either smaller or bigger, but whatever. They say that intellectually is scientifically proven that we're unintelligent, we develop slower, all these myths. But a lot of times we enable these myths to persist. And we energize white folks, and we how should I put this? We help these stereotypes go on by murdering people the way we do in our hood. I mean, like in Chicago, I heard that black people murder another black person every 14 hours? Every 14 hours, a black can be expected to kill another black. We definitely have to clean our own house before we start crying racism. If we don't want to go and eat where we eat for our own safety, if we don't want to shop where we have stores, or where there's a grocery store close to our neighborhood because we want fresh food and fresh meat and fresh produce, if we, don't want to go to our own restaurants for fear that, the food is going to be cold, or the tables and the chairs are going to be broken. If we're making these decisions as black folk, we're not going to our own clubs because we don't want to get shot at over somebody stepping on somebody else's shoes. We don't want to get shot up in a club. So we go to white clubs to be safer and to expect not to get shot and have a good time. If we as blacks make these decisions based on things like that, then how can we point at white folks to say we're uncivilized when we say the exact same things? Now, I understand that they're not superior. I talk about racism all the time. I understand they're not superior, but a large portion of us, a large segment of our population, what's the word I'm looking for? I hate when I'm at a loss for words. When it comes to stereotypes, we help portray those stereotypes, for lack of better terms. And I'll probably think about the word I wanted to use to be more concise when this video ends, and I hate that. It's probably old age, over 40, it seems like the mind just goes. But yeah, I mean, we cannot sit up here and keep pointing the finger at white folks until we clean up our own house. I talk a lot about racism, but every now and then I like to talk about our own downfalls and our own shortcomings, because if we want to fight racism, we have to start at home by having our stuff in order. So when I was shopping for shoes, I just had to just think, wow, this is so sad that I knew immediately that I have to just go buy them myself. I can't order them now that I'm in the hood. And just to say that to myself, and I've heard so many other blacks say that about so many other things, but it's just sad that we know, no matter how many times we cry racism, we know that our fractured community and getting that together and building that up, we know in our hearts that's the start of ending white supremacy. No matter how many times we point the finger at white folks, we know in our hearts that getting ourselves together, lowering the abortion rate, lowering the murder rate, lowering the dropout rate of our black kids, we know all these things we have to stop and build and construct a family again. And we have to do all these things in the black community before we cry racism. We know that. And so I just had to put that out there. We got to clean house before we start or continue to cry racism. We got to start at home. We know it exists, but we can't help the situation. We can't help the situation by being how we are. All right? Like, share, subscribe, comment. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.